So today we'll discuss about node and cluster setup, and then once you set up the cluster, then what are the activities you have to do post your cluster setup. Okay, okay, you can just mute yourself because this your voice will come in the recording. So yeah, and then we'll do the first time storage provisioning, and then we'll talk about day-to-day storage management. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do is uh, the first thing that we have to do is we have to connect the power of our Netapp array, physical array, and you have to have the network cables configured. Okay, and this thing will be done by the Netapp vendor. This thing has to be done with the Netapp vendor or our data center people, or whoever is in data center, access of data center. Okay, because sometimes we might be working in India, but the data center is in Switzerland or some other product. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, so that's why you have to uh, you know be in touch with the field support, and you need to tell them that this is what you need to do. Okay, so you need to guide them, and if Netapp person is there, then you do not have to guide them. They will do that. Okay, so basically when you do this thing, right, when you do this setup everything, right, so you'll have you have to decide that how many ports you require. Okay, so you have to decide how many ports you require. Okay, how many ports, how many IPs you require. So basically you'd require one cluster management leaf, one IP for cluster management. Okay, and two IP for node management. Okay, so you need to, yeah, so you need to take care of that. Okay, and if you have a if you in case you are having a two node cluster, two nodes you're having. Okay, if you're having only one node, then you need one node management IP and one cluster management IP. Okay, and what you have to do, you have to go to the network team and you have to raise a raise a request for them, raise a SR for them that I need these two IP in this subnet. Okay, or maybe you have to tell them this is my location, like Peterborough or Chessington, whatever the location, and the network, I mean the network you have there, I just need some IP which is which will be reachable. So you have to tell them like that. Okay, so they will give you the IP. Then the main thing you will do, the Netapp is powered on, and you know you have to open the console, Netapp console. Okay, so what you do that you have to open the nodes serial console. So you have to connect your laptop that. Okay, and you have to open the serial console, and then you'll get this once you log into that, you'll get this prompt. Okay, you'll get this prompt like welcome to the cluster setup wizard. So you'll get this prompt, and then you can do the following setup. So like just yes, confirm, yes, yes. So it is setting up auto support, yes. Then it is asking for node management interface port. Okay, so you know that E0A, E0B, E0C. Okay, these ports are part of default IP space and default broadcast domain that we talked about. Okay, and we have sorry, cluster broadcast. We have two broadcast domain or IP space. One is default, one is cluster. Cluster is for management purposes like cluster management, node management, and there is another is for default. Okay, in the default you'll have the ports that will use for data management leaf. Okay, so I'll just use the port number here, very important. And then you have to give the IP of node management that you have gotten from your network team. Okay, so I'll give the IP 192. And then you have to give the net mask. You'll get these informations from your network team. Yeah, So this is there. You see that the node mesh interface on port E0C with IP address this has been created. Okay, so now you got everything. So now you see you if you want to access, if you want to do the cluster setup, you have to access this IP. Okay, so here they are asking otherwise, and please enter to complete the cluster setup using the command line interface. So I do not want to do the setup using the command line CLI. I want to do from GUI. So what I will do, I'll just keep the session, this putty session running. Okay, so then what I have to do, or if I want to do the cluster setup using GUI CLI, you can also do that, but I will not do that. Okay, so one second. So I'll go to the Firefox, and I have cluster setup node 1. Okay, I'll just open this one. Now there is one more thing, uh, we just have to go to the advanced. One second, not yet. Go to advanced. There is reason why it's asking you that. Accept this and continue. So basically uh, that information was showing that this node is using an invalid security certificate. Okay, why is that? Because whenever the first node it boots, right, so ONTAP will generate a self-signed certificate for that node. Okay, so that the system manager, the ONTAP system manager, it can use that particular SSL certificate to establish the secure HTTP session. Okay, but the problem is the Mozilla or Firefox or any other web browser, right, it will not trust that self-signed certificates, and that's why it will give this error. Okay, it will give this warning, and that is the reason whenever I do some SSL certificate or something, right, what I do is I generate the key, I generate a public key from that public and private key from that device, either it's Netapp or Hitachi, and then I raise a SR and send it to my security team, and the security team does something. Okay, they will give us some packages, 2 or 3 packages, and from there we'll generate the digital certificate. Okay, so that the web browser will not show anything and we can log in. So that is a fairly complicated process, and we do not do the everything there. Okay, here we have to do it like every 6 months, like that we have to do it gets expired, bro. For Netapp every 1 year, for Hitachi it expired soon. Okay, so we have to do that. One day I mean, it's not a storage admin work, but here we have to do it. Here they expect us to do each and everything. So anyway, so now we'll log into this ONTAP system manager. So admin Netapp, keep me signed in for the session. No, I'll not so here I got it. Okay, yeah, 2 healthy nodes, that is good. Okay, no problem. Cluster storage, cluster, the store system name, right? So better to give smaller cases. Same password I'll use because to make it easy. Sorry. Then I'll go to this networking part, and I have to give the cluster management IP, which I gave earlier. So 92.168. just one, just one. And then what I need to do is it's there, it's okay. Node serial number 70, 71, node management IP. The second IP will be like 112, I'll give. Okay. But there is one concept, okay. Suppose this is the initial configuration, but if you want to do replications or anything, right, so you have to take two IPs per node for your intercluster live. You can have only one IP per node, but for load balancing or for redundant purposes, I normally use two IPs, okay. And also for data leaf also, suppose you have SAN, right, so you'll have like you'll be using two leaf for that particular SVM, because SAN leaf they do not migrate, so there you have to use ALUA and MPIO, right? So for that you have two leaves there. For NAS leaf you can have like different leaves, okay. So depending upon your project requirement, you'll be asking IPs. But normally during the installation time, you just need three IPs: cluster management IP and node management IP. And the intercluster switches are right. The communication what happens between the intercluster switches for the nodes, right? It will use some private IP. 169 IP that you do not need. Private IP is like for internal communication only. You will not be able to, those are not for user or our use. Okay, so it's just internal communication only. Whenever you do net insure, right, you'll be able to see that information. Okay. And one more thing I wanted to say, in some of the roles, right, that in today's IT domain, right, if you see a storage admin, right, they would want you to know backup and VMware, okay. And along with that, now people expect you to know one or two cloud platform, administration of it, and automations. Like how do you automate your cloud platform using Terraform? And if it's Azure, then they probably would know extra informations, extra knowledge about Azure Bicep and ARM templates. If it is AWS, then AWS Cloud Formations. And they will also want you to know the knowledge of database, Kubernetes, but it's basically only for infrastructure part, okay? You are not going to uh, do, you're not going to deploy any softwares on uh, any framework, anything, okay? So it's not that. So that is basically some other DevOps part. This is basically cloud part, okay? So it's like storage and cloud architect or storage and cloud developer, something like that, okay? So anyway, so I've selected this. Now I have to mention this DNS also, okay. So these informations I'll get from Intel team, okay. I did struggle a bit while doing configurations first time for the software defined storage, because whenever I was executing my node create commands, right, uh, it was creating the virtual machines and it was deleting itself, okay. So after some time from the logs we came to understand that that because we do not have sufficient administrative privilege of that vCenter, that is the reason the on-tap deploy is not able to create. So I'll show you those things also, okay. how to uh, how to build a Netapp array, how to build a software defined Netapp array, okay. So you always have to keep your knowledge up to date for storage, backup, VMware, Linux, and cloud and automations, okay. There are two domains. One is infrastructure domain, and another is like DevOps domain. You can choose anything. You can become a DevOps also. It's not a problem. But if you want to use your existing knowledge, so better to have good knowledge in storage, backup, VMware, Linux, or AIX. AIX is a little bit difficult, and you should have knowledge on any of the cloud, Azure, Google. I'll suggest Azure and Google, or maybe Azure and AWS. And then how to automate, how to provision your network, your storage, your database, your compute using Terraform. Or if it is Azure, then you have to know, you probably have to have additional knowledge of ARM templates. So it's basically same only. And for storage, you also need to learn automations using Ansible, okay. So it's not like you're doing coding anything, it's just module. You just need to know how to call the different kind of variables, how to pass the informations, how to, different kind of security key we need to use, how to get the outputs generated in secured way, or maybe we do not want the output generated while we do the Terraform plan command, so we want to hide the output. Okay, so there are things there which you can easily understand and gain knowledge. It's not a big deal. The only thing is that we have to be focused, and we should also have our free time for families, everything. We should not be like studying all the time. So now, as I have given the DNS domain, okay, I need to give the name server, the DNS server. I'll get this information from my Intel team. So I'll give this information here. Normally you have to keep two DNS servers. It's better because if one DNS server is not working, but unfortunately we have only one DNS server here, so only one. And what is NTP server? NTP server is basically for time synchronization. I have configured this in Linux also, okay. And there are in Linux everything is a service, is a daemon, okay. In under /etc /sysconfig, okay, it will be there like ntpd daemon. So service ntpd start stop, like that you have to do, okay, every time you configure the configuration file in Linux. So let me go here, 1 second. I need to put the IP here, okay. So I just copy it here, copy this much. I think maybe somebody joined. Yeah. So Javed, today we are discussing, how to configure Netapp from scratch. Okay. Suppose you got your Netapp device, okay, and it's connected, it's powered up, and the network cabling is done, okay, and then we are doing it. We're installing the Netapp from scratch, okay. And this video will be there with, yeah, this video will be there with sound, so you'll be able to understand what I said. So initially, we'll go to the network team. We'll give a requirement that I need three IPs, one for cluster management IP, and two. If you have two nodes, then two node management IP, okay. And then we'll get IP, like those IPs are already configured, like DNS domain, DNS IP, like name server IP, NTP server IP. Those things already configured. It's not like it's configured for us only. It is used for some other purpose also, okay. So your NTP server can be a Windows server, it can be a Linux server. If it's a Linux server, then you have to configure that under /etc/sysconfig/ntpt, okay. And if it's a Linux, and then you have to start the daemon, okay, service ntpd start stop you have to do, okay. Ping, it's very difficult, 1 second. It's how Linux works. Yeah, that's how Linux works for NTP server, but it's not required for us to know, because we do not, the Linux admin will be there. We don't need to do that. We just need to take the IP from them, okay. And we need to make sure that DNS server time zone and your on-tap server time zone is same. Otherwise, it will have issues with while doing name resolutions. You understand, right? So that is the thing. Okay. So what I will do, I'll go down, go down, go down, go down. Yes, I'll just submit it. Okay, I have added it. I've added it. Uh, okay. So today we are just installing a Netapp from scratch. So you can refer to the video. You know, the sound is there. Okay. So we provide the NTP servers here, and we do not have. 1 second. What is happening? Yeah, we do not have additional NTP server, additional name server. So we'll just submit it. Now the cluster is being configured, so it will take some 3 to 5 minutes to finish. So just should be, I could have done it from the CLI also, okay, but I kept the CLI running and I'm doing from the GUI. Just in CLI I just just mention the IP, node management IP, node management port, those things I mentioned, okay. And initially when I'm accessing the browser, right, I'm accessing the browser of the management IP, okay. And the Netapp will create a self-signed certificate, but it's not trustable by any web browser like Mozilla or Firefox, so it will throw an error first time. We have to just avoid that error warning. It's a SSL certificate. Whenever you access some website, right, there is some SSL certificate that is needed, so which will show like it's trustable or not. Suppose you are trying to view a website, then every website will have some SSL certificate, every web page means the web portal, okay. The reason because that it shows like it's trustable or not. So in our environment, we design that certificate, the digital certificate. Like we design means I just download that private key and public key from Hitachi Array, and I give it to my security team. They create some packages and they give it to us. From there we create the digital certificate. Okay, the process is not needed because it's not a storage admin's job. Okay, but here unfortunately we do it, bro. We have to do it because that's let it. I think it's almost done. You see, right? We can see the login prompt, right? Almost done. Well, let's just wait, bro. Okay. In Netapp, yearly your SSL certificate will expire, so you have to. There is a command like SSL create, where you have to create the SSL certificate. You have to disable the previous certificate and delete it, and you have to enable the new certificate. Okay, you just there are some few commands. SSL self sign on commands are there. Okay, I'll show you. In one of the labs, I'll show you how to create the certificates, and those things is very much needed, because if you don't have that, then you cannot add those at the Netapp arrays in Occam tool. Occam tool is a unified manager, which is, if you want to manage all Netapp arrays in single console, then you will configure the Occam. And also, if there are some issues in your Netapp, right, so through Occam you can integrate that with a monitoring tool called SolarWind, and from there the SolarWind will be integrated with the ServiceNow or any ticketing tool, and whenever there is some issues or errors are there, it will generate the SRs and we can work on them. Okay, so we do not have to monitor manually. And this thing works in SNMP traps. Okay, so we have to, there are two ways of creating the alert system in Occam: SNMP trap and email. Okay, so I will do the Occam configurations. I'll show you, don't worry about that. I'll show you how to do Occam configurations, how to do on tap deploy, all these things. Okay, so just wait for some time. So it's because it's a self sign-on certificate which is not being recognized by Mozilla or Firefox. That is the reason the error is coming. We have not created the SSL certificate for Netapp yet, so that's the reason. So I'll go to the it will show invalid, but it's a self sign-on. It's not an invalid certificate, but it's not uh, how do I say? I have not registered this with this for this, for this goal from, okay, goal from Mozilla. That is the reason. This is a different process, and it involves a joint work of storage team and security team. Storage team alone cannot do it. Suppose I'm working some project, right? So I'll have some organization unit, some place, some different parameters will be there. I have to put those parameters in a file. Okay, so it depends upon a project. It's because this kind of this kind of access will not be it will not be accessible from your internet. Okay, means I'm using a VPN to connect to it, right? I mean, not this is a demo, but when I'm doing project, right, so if you're trying to do it from outside, you'll not be able to. This is only for the particular project or particular company. Okay, so this was, it's a self-signed certificate, right? So that's why it's giving the error. So I'll just accept and continue. Okay, Now I see this IP 101, right? 101. So this is my cluster management leaf. Okay, so I'll just log into it. Admin. Sorry, this I always forget this password. I really like working in Netapp, bro. I have worked in many different arrays, many different storages, Hitachi, EMC, Oracle, you know, different storages. The worst one was Oracle storage, Oracle Axiom storage. It was worst storage so far, but I like Netapp, bro, for some reason. I see this error. What is this error, bro? Oh, okay, okay. Reboot, maybe reboot and all. Yeah, controller failover is not possible. Control failover, takeover disabled. Okay, it's just initial stage, right? It will throw some emergency error, bro. We can ignore it. Okay, because if there is some issue, right, then we'll certainly see the first step of configuring the on-tap cluster was to enable the auto support configurations. Okay, so it was a default setup. So if there is some issue, obviously Netapp will get the logs. Okay, they will get the auto support. So, so let me go here. Now if I go here, this cluster console, right? Yeah, I'm getting the same error that I got here, right? Default this is this. Okay, it's not a problem. Just give so login. Okay, okay. If I want to do, I can log in. I will do the things in GUI. So I will just disclose the. I'll just disconnect, or maybe I'll just keep the session running. No problem. Okay. Because it's very easy to configure your Netapp when you're configure the Netapp from scratch, right, through on top system manager. The workflow is very easy. Okay. So the first thing I will do, I'll just explore the system manager dashboard. Okay. So this is my cluster memory, that is okay. I'll go to dashboard. I will check health. In the health panel, I see error, and I will also see recommended actions like enable automatic update. So like this, you have this recommended options also you have. Okay. So here this error happen during that during our setup. This is basically the cluster monitor process. Okay, the system takeover was disabled. Okay, so we have set up the cluster before enabling the takeover process. So these processes will happen automatically. So we did the cluster setup, and that HAPR, the cluster or node takeover was enabled. Okay, so I can ignore this error, and this error will be there in my dashboard for the next 24 hours. After the next 24 hours, it will be deleted. Okay, and then we can see, if it is reoccurring, then we need to check with what is the issue is there, and it will probably clear, most likely it will clear, and then it does means it's just a warning. You can ignore this. Okay, I mean, during upgrade also I showed you guys, we get a lot of warnings. We can ignore this, right? Only the things we get error, right? Like we got some veto error, we got some leaf migration error, like leaf revert error. I resolved those errors, right, during the upgrade I showed you guys. You can refer to my, oh no, there is no unfortunately there's no recording for that, because I was doing in my project environment. So but I have shared the command in our WhatsApp group. Okay, the thing I did, every command I did to resolve the issues, and every issues I got. Okay, because whenever you are attending an interview, they will be asking, during the cluster upgrade, during the disk firmware upgrade, what are the issues you get and how did you resolve it. Mainly in my career, I faced three issues: object not found error issues, uh, insufficient space issue, and others veto error, and there's leave four issues I got. Okay, so you may get different error also. It's possible because it depends. Okay, and every time Netapp is upgraded to some new versions, there are new bugs coming in. Okay, so that's the problem, bro. So let me just ignore this. Let me go to health. Here I see, right, a cluster 01. This is a node 1. This is node 2. This is my sim box. What is this sim box? You see. So because I'm using virtual simulator, right? That's why it's a sim box. It's showing simulator. Okay. I'll click one of this logo. N logo. This is basically N. Okay. I can see this. Okay. See. This is, you can see here, this is right, the cluster name that I have given, cluster 1. Okay, for easier, I didn't give any upper cases so that I don't have to type. So just because this is a Unix, customers Unix, right? Unix was unlike our Hitachi is a Vista. So there it's not case sensitive, but this is here, it's case sensitive. So okay, so it's a claw hammer. It's basically it's a simulator. Okay, the latest code I'm using is 9.151 P5 P5 or P3. I need to check. Okay, P5 or P3. Okay, I have to check. So that's the latest code. Okay, if you want to upgrade the Netapp upgrade, you have to just click on this button. Okay, but before that you have to upload the package, and if you get issues you have to troubleshoot it. You can see a lot of things, the domain you have given, the name server you have given, the cluster management live. Okay, NTP servers, time zone, and everything. You can see this is part of HAPA. Okay, these two nodes are part of HAPA. First node and second node, you can see the name here. Okay, uptime, utilization, system ID. It depends how many you had purchased. If you have purchased 4 node, 8 node, it depends on that. Okay, it can have only one node also. It can also have one node, because suppose in one, few of my arrays we are having only one node, which you are using for only testing and development purposes, just to a single node cluster. Normally you should have two DNS configured and two NTP server configured, but as this is a demo environment and we do not have sufficient this thing, so unfortunately we are having only one NTP server here. Okay, and I also haven't not set up the login banner. We can set up the login banner. Okay, yeah, this one I don't do this cryptography. I haven't done this anywhere. Okay, so now what you can do is, go to dashboard again. Okay, this Netapp is having like 34 disk, right? Okay, so I'll go here. Maybe I want to see how the disk is there. So 34 disk is there. Very slow, unfortunately very slow. Yeah, it should show some diagram here anyway, so it's very slow. So okay, I'll prepare for storage. Okay, this is here, it's showing us adding local TS. What local TS means? Local TS means the storages are physically connected. It's not a cloud storage. It's not BlueXP is not connected to it. Okay, so it's not having any cloud tier. So it's local. Okay, so we have just it's added. Okay, register active IQ to historical data. Active IQ is something that I told you, right? Occam is active IQ. Okay, no, sorry, Occam is different, active IQ is different. Active IQ is a tool. Suppose I want to have the update plan. একটু পরে খাবো রাখো এটা so active IQ is a thing, right? You can log into the Netapp support, and from there you can log into the active IQ, or you can get some link. Okay, suppose you want to do the upgrade from active IQ. You can add your site ID, your serial numbers, and you can have the upgrade plan there. You will get a PDF where it will just do a thorough check of Netapp array, and it will tell you like what are the vulnerabilities you have to fix before you can do the upgrade. Okay, suppose you're having 32 bits aggregate and you have to do like change it to 64-bit aggregates, which is mainly for 7 mode, not C mode, but that's just one example. And suppose you have like one logical interface which is not in home node home port, it's in some other port which is part of that same failover group. Okay, like if you give in the failover policy as broadcast domain wide. Okay, so in the same broadcast domain, I showed you this guys. Okay, that how what is a broadcast domain, what is this. Okay, and I also show some if you get any kind of clarification on any of the things that I discuss, you can always ask, or you can always ask to repeat the sessions. It's not a problem for me. Okay, I will just explain that. So who's pinging me again? Today I need to give some port to some not Netapp, Linux people. They want to connect their AIX to broker, so I have to find the edge switches. I just find out. I can tell my juniors also. Please find out some two ports. One second. Let me just tell my juniors 1 second. Let's find out two ports that has SAP installed. What is RFDC, PFDC? What is this? Two sensors, RBDC, 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 RBDC. Let me AIX, HPS. Okay. Okay. So yeah. 1 second. Now you can go down below here. You can see your add license key, right? You can have like different license keys you can have. Okay, for NFS, CIFS, capacity tier. Okay, whether it's a node tied to the node or tied to the cluster, or it's just evaluation license. Okay, see, licenses are different uh, for your physical arrays and for software defined storage arrays. Okay, the concept is different. For software defined storage array, you have to purchase the capacity tier license, because even though you are assigning the backup backend, the storage from backend array, still will not be visible in software defined storage until and unless you have purchased the capacity tier license. Okay, I'll show you this, guys. Okay, so I'll show you completely Netapp and Hitachi. For EMC, unfortunately I have limited labs, so I'll show you the labs that I have, but still it will be like I'll cover the replications, time finder, SnapVX, SRDF replications. I'll set up. The only thing that I will not do is VNX file replications, that I have also done. Mostly will not be needed that much, but it's also there. Okay, I have done that. I struggle a bit in that while configuring it in my Genpack project. While I was moving that replication, right, the data mover was not failing over seamlessly. so I chose not to move the data mover. So I'll show you those things. Okay, data mover is similar to, you can call it like SVM kind of like thing. Okay, similar to that kind of. Anyway, so I will just browse this. Okay, I'll go to my desktop. I have this two bundles, so I'll just add. So if I just add both the bundles, right, so what it will do, you just use a comma. Okay, just comma it will do. Okay, then what you need to do, you just need to do add. So it is licensor added. Okay, no problem. mm, so yeah, so licenses are there. What license are there? We go to license and go to the license page. One second. Yeah, so the license that I have is this. Netapp is very smart. Okay, they are having a different license for their simulator. Okay, it does not work like in real time, but this is how it is. Okay, so one license, it can do everything, bro. NFS, SMB. So I showed you guys, how to configure NFS export, how to configure saver share, how to configure iSCSI learn. So I'm here to show you how to do NVMe configurations, FC and S3, that I'll show you guys. Okay, and I'll also show you guys, cloud storage like Amazon S3, Amazon FSx, Azure Blob Storage, Google Cloud Storage, those things. Okay, from their respective CLIs. And I also show how to integrate our NetApp with this. Like, mostly if you purchase any Azure, right, at the backend storage it will have NetApp. They are not having their own storage. They have not invented or built any new storage. Okay, they are just focusing their technology in cloud platform. Okay, so that is something that, let me just, yeah. And this is also same. Yeah, so this is what, this is one second, let me just check the serial number. uh, One second. 77. Okay, yeah. There are two serial numbers. What does it mean? It means it's not cluster wide, it's node based. It's tied to the node. Okay. So then if I want to do the configure protocol, right, we can do the we can protocol we can configure the protocols. Okay, and then fast time provisioning, right, you can create your SVMs and everything there. Okay, like I go to storage SVMs. Do I see anything here? I don't see anything here. Yes, good. But actually, even although I don't see anything here, right, still something is there, bro. Means what I mean to say is, let me just show you this. Sorry. Yeah. You see, right? This IPs you have given, right? Initially, one node management IP, then this have configured, and these IPs, as I said, these are private IPs. This is for internal communication only between the nodes, for cluster intercluster switches. Okay, and if you want to see the V server, right, even though in system manager it does not show anything, it is there, bro. I can only see from CLI. Okay, and this is not for data purpose, this is only for management purpose. This is admin view server and this is a node view server. Okay, admin view server is for cluster view server only. Okay, so this is there. So today I will just do that. I will leave the training until this. Tomorrow I'll finish this setup, bro. Okay, tomorrow I'll just show you how to create SVMs, how to create first your volumes, how to get shares, learns, how to give flex cache volumes. Okay, so basically flex cache is what? Flex cache is basically, it's just a PCI card. Okay, it's, and flex vol is like adding your SSD disk to a particular aggregate. Okay, so that you have read write cache is better. Okay, so that it's actually flash pools. SSD is only for read purpose. Okay, so for the flex cache, right, I'll show you that initially we needed a special license for flex caching, for 7 mode or on tap 8 mode or 9.2 mode. Okay, I remember that, in back in Genpact, we had to procure the license. But after 9.7, we don't need it, bro. We it's now bundled. It comes with the on tap package. Okay, so I'll show you this. Okay, tomorrow I'll show you guys. Okay, not tomorrow, sorry, let me check. 1 second. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow is Jama Soshti. Day after tomorrow, okay, Thursday. So you'll have training Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, so I'll show you guys. Okay, yeah. And I think most of the people, they might have, I think, let me just and